Hey, what is going on YouTube? It is GeneralTarheel bringing you another Pokemon Draft League video. Now this is going to be a very important video to me because it is a very new video to a lot of you. So if anyone viewing this came over from Mikey's video or M&J TV, as we call him professionally, I would like to thank you for coming over and subscribing. I was just doing raids with Mikey and Pokemon, or John, and casually brought up the competitive ranking of some of those Pokemon, and I said, yeah, sure, I can help. We talked for about 15 minutes about that. Said he put it in a video, wasn't expecting that clean of a shout out. So thank you to Mikey and thank you to everyone that came over. I really appreciate it. Over on this channel, I go over the competitive value of Pokemon in the Draft League format. On occasion, I'll do Showdown, but typically you will only see me do Draft League format. I'm not interested in VGC. Even though Doubles is interesting and I like to view it, like be a viewer for it, I'm not interested in competing in it or anything of the sort. Draft League is my home, and that's where I love to highlight Pokemon at their best. And to do that, we are going to be showing off this season of APA Ascension. For those who are not familiar with the APA, it's the American Pokemon Association, one of the biggest draft leagues out there for Pokemon. Mainly, it started small about 4 or 5 years ago, and it grew. I was one of the people that really helped out with that. Panther and Mightykiss did an amazing job, period. Of course, Dan as well. So it has grew vastly now. So this is one of their competitive leagues for the Showdown version of APA. You'll have the main series in Wi-Fi where you see a lot of familiar coaches, which I'm also a part of. But this is for the rankings and Showdown. Ascension is the second highest league. If I was at my peak, I would probably be in Evolution, but I'm definitely not at my peak right now because of the time I took off for school. So I'm here to shake off the rust and I'm in Ascension. Hopefully I do fine. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of good competitive battlers. And even though I might have not the best season, because everyone's got a high skill level here and there's no such thing as an easy win when it comes to these type of leagues, I am looking forward to it and I hope you guys are as well. And before I go straight into the draft analysis, there's one more thing I want to cover since we do have a lot of new viewers to the channel. I am also interested in uploading a low tier draft, which I've done, which is a lot of cheaper, not as often used Pokemon that are used in Draft League format, and some of these higher up Pokemon like you see on the screen, like Charizard X, Melmetal, stuff like that, they're banned. They're not allowed. It's typically your tier 3 or your RU Pokemon and below. So if you're interested in that, let me know. That's one option. I'm going to give you that option. Or would you like live battles for these Ascension and have team builders still edited together or separate? Because typically my best thing is doing them as a post-com for these replays, so I can go over there and in full depth and give my exclamations properly, go over calcs, everything, the right plays, the wrong plays, etc. That's what I think is best, but if you guys prefer live battles, I am willing to do that. So please let me know in the comments whether you want live battles for Ascension, which is this team that I'll be going over now, or if you would like me to do an additional draft league in the low tier draft and just do replay videos of each of them in their own separate video. Because I really like that draft for low tier as well. Alright, so without getting further into it, I had the 12th draft spot in Ascension. It was either 12th or 13th. I think it was 13. But either way, not the best draft position, especially considering there's a lot of mons that clearly separate themselves in their value for draft, aka being Dragapult if you get the first draft position. But 13, I thought I could work with it. There was quite a few things I wanted to stick to when it came down to this because I want to perform well. And anyone that's new here definitely is not aware that I am in love with Mega Charizard X. Since we are playing on Showdown, this does include Megas and any Pokemon not included in the Pokemon Sword and Shield game. But we do include Crown Tundra DLC moves if, of course, they have learned to enter in the game. So Mega Charizard X is just about my favorite Pokemon, period. And I just perform the best with it in Draft League. No one values it like I value Mega Charizard X. People respect it. Very strong with Tough Claws, obviously, and being a Dragon Dance sweeper and everything. But it can just do so much more. It's a good bulky Pokemon with Will-O-Wisp and Roost. It can still defog if you want it to. Because if you get the Mega Evolution off, you're only weak to rocks by, of course, 20. You're only using 25% compared to 50 with normal Charizard. You have the Belly Drum Flame Charge option. You just have a Breaker with Roost. bulky Dragon Dance with Roost, which is the most important. Because with Tough Claws, with your stabs and Fire and Dragon, you hardly ever need any other coverage. Unless you're facing like an Azumarill or Primarina, of which of course kind of hard wall you right there. So keeping that in mind, I just knew I would do the best with Charizard. Some people considered it an early pick getting in round 1. But the fact that I'm close to the wheel, which obviously would make it to where once it goes down to the 16 draft position, immediately goes back to 16, they draft again and goes back up. I was worried about people taking it on the wheel on the way back, and I didn't really want to worry about that, so I just made sure I 100% got Mega Charizard X and drafted that first. This is my truly beloved Pokemon, and I know I will do well with it again, and I will try to highlight it the best I can, because I know I'm capable of using this Pokemon to its full extent compared to some other people. It's not like I'm shouting anyone out, or adding anyone right there. It's just the fact I do see it underused on occasion, and I love this Pokemon too much, and I want to use it properly. So, but anyone that's not familiar with Mega Charizard X, Tough Claws gives it a really strong boost with 1.3 times with any physical attack. Really, really solid. It makes that damage output with the base 130 attack tremendous. 100 speeds, very basic, but after a DD it is very nice because any Scarfer has to be a 100 base speed or above in order to deal with us after a Dragon Dance with his huge, or after a Flame Charge. Because most ideal Scarfers are in between that 80 to 100 base speed range. Typically, when you get a little bit too higher up above the base 100 speed, you have very rare Pokemon that actually have the proper stats to be able to KO a Pokemon with Charizard's bulk. Apart from Pokemon such as Terrakion, which is a major threat. But apart from that, Charizard, of course, gets amazing coverage. It gets flying coverage. The stabs and Fire and Dragon. Special is actually a very viable option with Charizard because it still has the base 130 special attack. It's just that it benefits more from being physical because of the Tough Claw's ability boosting its damage output. I have run a Charizard in Sun before with Fire Blast and Solar Beam, so I'm able to hit a Quagsire, for example, which would typically hardwall any form of Charizard because it wants to be set up and Quagsire runs unaware. So there's a lot of things that you're able to get around with Charizard's amazing move pool because Game Freak loves this Pokemon as much as I do, and they value it, giving it any potential different form or just a large moveset as we can see here. I'm definitely going to use it to its full potential. I'm confident in that, and I'm very happy with this Pokemon again. Getting to a Wing Beat might actually be coming in clutch for potential specific matchups, so I'm looking forward to that. But next up is a Pokemon that is the main reason I want to try it with Charizard, because I've used a similar Pokemon with Charizard X before, and it's really hard to kill this generation. I used Lando T last time with Mega Charizard X, which was ridiculous because Lando T, of course, is a busted Pokemon. But I tried to go with something that's just very hard to kill this generation because hidden power is gone, and that is Gliscor. Very, very bulky boy, hard to kill. Really difficult for people to deal with. And if you can't tell by the nickname so far on the screen, I'm going with an all Avatar The Last Airbender theme. Yes, there is some from The Legend of Korra, but I'm definitely I prefer Avatar The Last Airbender. I'm not saying Korra is bad by any means, it's just Avatar The Last Airbender is the GOAT, best show of all time. Korra is good in its own way. Avatar is just the best. That's to me, at least. But if you appreciate the nicknames, let me know down below. And what you think, if I got them all correct. Because I think most of these are good. Mega Charizard X is always Roku. Okay, so we got Gliscor. Benefits pretty well with Charizard. Mainly gives me a ground immunity immediately. And that's just about it for Charizard's weaknesses. But Gliscor, really, really solid defog. So bulky. The reason why this is unkillable is because of this ability right here, Poison Heal. You give this thing Toxic Orb, 1/8 of its health each turn just because it's poison. You can't get statused any other way unless they're able to get rid of your Toxic Orb or status you before you get it. You easily just lead it and run Protect if you want to. You get a proper switch in when they're forced to click a specific move. You get it no matter what. It's so easy. Ground plus flying coverage. So good. Earthquake plus dual Wing Beat now, which it gets. Used to always be forced to run like Acrobatics or Wing Attack. Oh wait, no, it doesn't get dual Wing Beat because it's not in the game. Major Cap. That was in the data mine and we didn't get it. So, still have to run Wing Attack. But either way. Amazing stabs. Really solid for like an SD set. Which is a very viable possibility. because you're able to sub a lot on Pokemon because you're just too fat. It doesn't matter. And then I'm a very reliable Stealth Rocker, a knockoff user, Tailwind for Charizard if I really wanted to, U-Tune for Pivot. Gliscor can just about do it all. It's really, really solid. And pairing it with Charizard, I think, is going to go a long way for me. And I just have to cover their weaknesses a little bit better, considering they don't properly support each other on the defensive side as much. Because Charizard's a fire type, but it's neutral to ice for Gliscor. And it's also a dragon, but neutral to water for Gliscor. And then Gliscor, even though a ground type, neutral to rock. So a few things you got to fix there, you know. But either way, I don't know why my music is changing constantly, but either way, Gliscor is going to be doing amazing, 100%. I'm looking forward to supporting it correctly, and hopefully Longfang can do better than he did in boxing today. Next up, we have Melmetal. I have no clue how this Pokemon made it all the way back to me in round 3. But I went with it, because the next thing I wanted was Slowbro or Milotic. Milotic is another one of my top favorites that I do amazingly well with and would be an amazing Ice Resist. But it was sniped right after, along with Slowbro. Both of my picks were sniped right after I got Gliscor. Or no. It was after I got Melmetal, actually. Yeah, I wanted Melmetal no matter what, because the teams beneath me, I was more worried if they got Melmetal. And I thought it paired really well with Charizard, and I haven't used it before. So I said I'd go with it. So afterwards, my picks in Slowbro and Milotic were sniped. Unfortunate. But it's okay. Melmetal, if you don't know, absurd top stats. Just acknowledge them for a second. 135 HP. Fat. 143 attack. Painful. 143 defense. Thick. Like, he can take the hits. 34 speed, underwhelming, but not the worst thing in the world because you're so absurdly fat. You're taking a hit on any physical side easily. Even if it's a close combat from like a really strong Pokemon, I'm probably only taking half. Like, because you don't really need to worry about your speed. You're investing in your HP and your bulk so heavily that it really benefits you, especially investing in your Spit F, because your Spit F is only at base 65. Really want to boost that up, potentially with an Assault Vest sometimes. But it can help out a lot with that. Now, my main reasoning behind getting Melmetal, apart from the fact that I think it's broken and I haven't used it, is that it really helps Charizard in a way that one of them is going to break down the bulky water so the other one can win. Ideally, I use Melmetal as the breaker majority of the time, and then I'm able to use Charizard late game with the Dragon Dance Sweep because their water type is weakened, and most fairies actually can't do too much to Charizard. So I'm able to deal with it properly from there on out. Water types can be the most annoying along with really bulky ground types. Same can go for Melmetal with the ground types as well. Even though they don't resist Double Iron Bash, which is Melmetal's most spammable move, they're able to easily get off damage versus Melmetal as a form of revenge. And typically ground types will be around the same speed as Melmetal or faster. So you have to be aware of that. But overall, Melmetal with its just breaking abilities and good defensive typing, really I felt like was going to benefit me. Double Iron Bash just hits twice at base 60, already 120 before stab, so after stab, that's 1.5 times each hit. So you actually get 180 base damage with Melmetal, with that base 143 attack, which is ridiculous, and it has a 30% chance to flinch, which is wild. So that's really huge for it. Darkest Lariat is great for people who are trying to set up. You just go right through their stats. I don't have to worry about a Cosmic Power, Stored Power. I think Lottie or whatever, for example, I was just thinking of some sort of Psychic type. I guess Necrozma would be a good Pokemon to compare it to. Body Press is huge because I can just run a Iron Defense set and then just be able to click Body Press over and over. But typically, I kind of just want to abuse the attack stat because I will be running Double Iron Bash almost every time. Earthquake and High Horsepower are good because that lets me hit like defensive, electric, or fire types that really want to be annoying. And then I still get access to like stuff like Rock Slide to allow me to hit Pokemon such as Rotom Heat, which is probably the best check to Melmetal out there. And then, other than that, Ice Punch, sure. I really wish Melmetal got Stealth Rocks. It would benefit a lot more if it got Stealth Rocks, because I do hate drafting Steels that don't get access to Stealth Rock. And it would put a lot or more pressure off on Gliscor running Stealth Rocks every week. But It does not get access to it. Thunder Wave is going to be very nice for the Charizard as well, in case a Choice Scarfer comes in because they think they could pick up a kill on Melmetal, but I'm especially bulky and they can't. So I'm just looking forward to seeing this thing click moves and watch Pokemon drop. Assault Vest, Choice Band are probably the most often sets you'll see with this thing. Other than that, a Sub Lefty set is also really good, especially Sub Lefty's Iron Defense Body Press. It's just so strong. It's actually ridiculous, and I can't wait to use this Pokemon because I haven't been able to draft it yet, so that's huge. So one of the things I just previously mentioned in the fact that both of those Pokemon are struggling with bulky waters a little bit, I thought one way to really capitalize on that is draft another one of my top Pokemon in Roserade. We have Suki here. Roserade, one of the best hazard stackers in the game. Scolipede gets speed boost. It can get both forms of spikes. Cool, it's fast, yeah. But Roserade does it elegantly. Roserade just lays them out like petals and says, ha, die. And Roserade just also breaks those bulky waters so easily with that base 125 special attack. And some people sleep on the fact that Roserade has 105 Spit F as well. Even though it's got low HP and 60 and 65 defense, it still takes special hits pretty well, which most water types are going to be clicking special attacking moves. So I'm still able to become bulky with Synthesis and Spikes, come in, hazard stack, and then that really benefits Melmetal and Charizard for the long run. Also, if I'm able to get up a T-Spike, Gliscor can just stall almost all of their team, and I don't even have to worry about like even thinking. It's just amazing. Base 90 speed is also good because I'm already at base 100 with Charizard and 95 with Gliscor. Very good range to spread out Pokemon is around the 80 to 100 base speed tier because that's where a lot of heavy hitters are. So if you're able to force them to run their max speed nature, such as Jolly or Timid, then they're not able to get a boosting nature such as Modest or Adamant, and that can really benefit your bulk in the back in the long run. So keep that in mind when you're drafting. Speed tiers are important. Some people say they're not, but they are. Higher speeds aren't really the most necessary. They're really beneficial if you have a like Speedy Revenge Killer, but as long as you're just able to force specific natures on majority of like threats, that's pretty important because that damage goes a lot in the long run. So not only do I threaten out those bulky waters, but I might be able to come in and just stack up hazards, which is huge. Those who are not familiar with Roserade, as for its coverage, it will click Leaf Storm or Sludge Bomb. It used to really benefit with Technician, Hidden Power, Fire, but since Hidden Power is out of the game, we are not allowed to use it. So I don't know if I'll actually run Technician anymore. I'll probably just keep it as a natural cure check and always come in on the water types and their Scalds, and then I don't have to worry about that anymore, which is very nice for me. Also gets Psychic coverage to help it versus opposing poisons, would typically like to wall it. I can run Sunny Day with Weather Ball in order to hit steel types. I've run that set plenty of times before and I love it. I get to run Sleep Powders for those steel types to put them asleep. That could benefit Melmetal with setting up. Stun Spore for paralysis can go a long way as well. Of course, I have to hit both of those, but it's out there. And then, of course, since I'm a poison type, Toxic will never miss on any of the opposing Pokemon, and Aromatherapy gives me Cleric. But typically, I'm not going to go for Cleric options while I have Gliscor on my team, because I want to make sure I keep that poison intact on Gliscor, so I never have to worry about losing my priority, or not my priority, but my main form of healing. So next up, I want to go ahead and grab my bulky water. I didn't think people were really going to grab that many left because the majority were gone, but I wanted to be safe. I considered Blastoise, but I opted to go with Suicune because I think this is actually just really good with Roserade's spike stacking potential on this team, because I'm able to be the Calm Mind sub Suicune that pressure stalls while there's a T-Spike up on the field, and that's just really annoying for people to deal with. Suicune, amazing bulk, 100 HP and 115 in both defenses, with 90 special attack still being a decently offensive Pokemon, and 85 speed being one of the fastest but bulkiest walls out there. So, of course, one of the dogs gets access to priority moves and extreme speed, and typically not going too far out of its normal coverage range, but does get access to Psychic type coverage as all the dogs do. I do get access to Tailwind as well in case I want to set that up for Melmetal. Gliscor can do the same thing as well. But typically you will see Suicune be some sort of rest set with Calm Mind, just stalling out your opponent's moves and potentially just Calm Minding up and winning, because it's really hard to break Suicune if you don't have a strong Electric type or Grass type, or just a Choice Band Pokemon with a very high physical attack or something of the sort. Because it's just really, really difficult to get through these stats right here. Suicune, even though I think I've used it once, I was never the biggest fan of it in the past because I really prefer my waters with reliable recovery, such as Slack Off on Slowbro, Recover on my Milotic, anything like that. Wish on Vaporeon's even fine as well. Mainly I prefer Recover Milotic, Milotic being my favorite Pokewater. But Suicune, going to be really good for this team in the long run, and I can promise on that. Just being able to be a reliable setup Pokemon that really limits and checks their answers to where they might have to force to throw their cards away to check Suicune, and then there's nothing left for Charizard to sweep. I think that will go very great in the long run, and it was something I knew I needed to get anyways in a bulky water to help versus ice types, because even though Melmetal is a steel, it has low special defense, and Charizard's neutral ice already, so I really needed a solid ice check, and Suicune's as good as it comes. Yes, Freeze Dry is very spammable versus my team at the moment, but I still think it's okay. So next up, I knew I needed to get one of the two things, and I had both picks in mind, so it was okay. I needed another Stealth Rocker so I could not force that on Gliscor every week, as well as I needed another form of removal in Defog or Rapid Spin so I'm not forcing it on Gliscor every week. Because if I'm able to run Protect to where I'm able to get 1/8 of my health immediately, or make sure I always get my Toxic Orb on Gliscor, that is huge. I'm also able to run an SD variant, a sub variant, Toxic, U-Turn. Gliscor has 4 move slot syndrome. It wants to run like 6 moves at once. So being able to not force Stealth Rocks on it or something one week would be very beneficial for my team. So, focusing on the Stealth Rocker, I opted to get Mesprit. Mesprit is an amazing, bulky, psychic type that really helps out my team as well. Because fighting types are a great offensive typing, and typically they will get access to Ice Punch, which will blow back Gliscor. Even with its good bulk, it will do a lot of damage, and I really don't want to deal with that. So, 1, having Mesprit for a fighting check, and 2, as a Stealth Rocker is amazing. Once again, really good bulk, which I really like. It's going to be great support for the team. Gets access to U-Turn, which is an amazing pivot, as well as it allows me to run Healing Wish, I believe. Yeah, Healing Wish, which is really nice because if my Charizard took Stealth Rocks at one point at 50%, I wasn't able to properly roost it off, and that's my win con. Bring it in, it's healthy again. Wasn't able to heal up Melmetal with the Wish on another Pokemon that I'll get to later. If Melmetal's not healthy, but it still does a lot of damage to their team, and they sacked their check in order to do all that damage, Healing Wish into Melmetal, boom, it's another big issue for their team again. Suicune got really low, and I don't really want to, or I'm not able to rest, Healing Wish. Like, that's going to go a long way for this team. Knockoff, of course, always spammable to get rid of items. I do have a really reliable dual screens option now in Mesprit for Charizard to set up if I want to, which is beautiful. I can see how low of damage people could do to Suicune with dual screens, which sounds absolutely chaotic. I do have Stored Power now, which is amazing. T-Wave for speed control, Toxic Spam, Trick Room for Melmetal. This is another thing I want to draft in Mesprit. Even though it's not slow to abuse the Trick Room, I can Trick Room into Baton Pass, which is amazing. To get in Melmetal immediately, because I'll Trick Room up. Typically, I feel like Mesprit will be running max speed for the most part. The best form of Mesprit is max HP, max speed, to where I'm getting the most out of my lower HP stat and the most out of my speed to where I can still outspeed the bulky Pokemon and avoid them. So in Trick Room, I will be the slowest thing if that were to happen, and I put Baton Pass in Melmetal, and Melmetal will be going first majority of the time, and then it just destroys anything in front of it. So, keeping that in mind, that is great for the team. Can be a really good Calm Minder, Choice Scarfer, Choice Specs. Mesprit can literally do it all, and I haven't used it in such a long time because I've been sniped of it so many times that I'm really forward to getting it here in Gen 8 and hopefully abusing it with this team. I know very well that this Pokemon will do exactly what I need to, and is very versatile. So not worried about that at all. Couldn't think of too strong of a name for Mesprit in terms of the Avatar series. So if you have one down below, please let me know. I just named it Spirit for the Spirit World. But if you have anything in mind, I'm all about it. So let me know. Next up, you will see everything here, but that's fine. Oh, I'll show them off anyways. We got Florges. Florges was actually my last draft pick because everyone else had a fairy, but it's more important than the 4 remaining picks that you see on the screen. So I just wanted to go ahead and talk about Florges beforehand because this gives me more bulk, my fairy type, which is really important. You always need a fairy because dragon is an absurd typing. There was a reason they implemented fairy. I get another defogger, which is great, and I get really strong special defensive bulk to pair with Gliscor. In case Suicune's a win con 1 week, and I don't really want to take it in and take all that health and everything like that. Wish support is going to go a long way, though, because the special defense on Florges is just so beneficial for the Gliscor, like I mentioned, but mainly the Melmetal. So even though Melmetal is weak to fire, fighting, and ground, and Florges only checks the fighting, the fact is, if it's a special offensive hit, which is typically what you want to hit Melmetal with, Florges comes in and just eats it. It doesn't care. Look at that base 154 special defense. Do you think Florges cares? No, not at all. Not at all. Defense, of course, is a little bit lacking. I really considered Aromatisse at first because it is a better Trick Room option, but it doesn't get defog. And I really needed another reliable defogger, and Florges is definitely one of them. So I just opted to go with that this week. Not this week. I just opted to go for that for the draft. So Florges, what it really slacks in is a good ability. I really wish they give Florges a better ability. These are terrible. It's just not beneficial at all. It's just not cool. Not cool. But Florges was on my championship team one time. I really loved the Pokemon. A lot of people hate on it. But it's a little bit understandable because its coverage is literally only in Fairy. Aromatherapy Cleric, but once again, we're not really be clicking that because we want to keep Gliscor nice and poisoned. But in case Suicune is asleep and I want it awake because I was doing a rest talk set, I might want to wake it up. Keeping that in mind. Let's see. Defog, like I mentioned, very important. Sometimes Energy Ball and Giga Drain can go a long way. Moonblast is the main fairy type move that Florges will spam, of course. And then Wish, Protect, Moonblast, fill-in move is typically what you will see on Florges whenever I bring it. It's not the best, but it does what it needs to, which is all I care about. It's a very one-dimensional fairy, I will say that. But it at least provides Wish support for the team, which is big, and hazard removal, which I think is also very important. So even though it hurts it a little bit, I'm not worried about it. Florges I know I can use well, and I've been able to 6-0 a team with Calm Mind, Wish, Moonblast before, so might be able to do it again for all I know. Next up we have Sneasel. Always got to get a Dark type. Always, always, always. If you don't draft a Dark type, you will get swept by a Mono Psychic Pokemon, and you will regret it for the rest of the season. Dark is a very important typing, period. So even though I think it's better to get a bulkier Dark type, such as Drapion, Incineroar, Tyranitar, even Skuntank, anything like that, I think is a better form of a Dark than offensive Dark. But, because special attacking Psychics and Ghosts are really hard to switch into. So unless you have a really nice, fat, Dark type, like I mentioned. But if you're getting offensive Dark in this case, if you have a really fat normal type, then that benefits you a little bit more. But Sneasel, still really solid, helps me also get above the base 100 speed tier now, which is pretty important. And offensive Ice is pretty good, to be honest, along with the Dark. Really good knockoff Pokemon. Unfortunately, Pursuit is out of the game, so I'm not allowed to run it. That was a very important move for Sneasel. But it does get access to Triple Axle now, which is very strong damage. Even though I was using them in my Dynamax dens last night, and I swear I wasn't getting anything more than 2 hits. So hopefully that changes for the season. But Sneasel, really solid for damage output. Really solid Swords Dance Sweeper at endgame. Can just be a Choice Band or Life Orb Pokemon that spams out damage, because it only has base 95 attack, so typically the attack boosting item does benefit it a lot. even though it might want to run heavy duty boots because it's just such a good item this generation and it is weak to stealth rocks. I'm going to rely on my defoggers for that because Sneasel does need the item to boost its damage output. It is very important for that. Other than that, just really good at knockoff spam, having Ice Shard priority, and that's honestly just about it because it can weaken up steals, but my team's really not too worried about that. If anything, I might give more of an opening for Melmetal, but steals aren't really an issue for my team. It can weaken fairies, which I truly don't think I'm worried about either, to be honest, because I have Rosary and Melmetal. But yeah, Sneasel, just good speed, important dark type, nothing more about it, and I really just didn't want to use Alolan Persian again. So we have Ming Hui, but from the Legend of Korra series, who is part of the Red Lotus. So White Lotus versus Red Lotus right here. And then next up we have Jolteon, Lightning Bolt Zolt coming in. So I loved Jolteon so much, was also on my championship team with Floridas back in Gen 7, but unfortunately Hidden Power is gone, Signal Beam is gone, Jolteon is gone. Jolteon's not that great now, but I still love it. I say that, but I haven't used it in Gen 8, so we'll see. Base 130 speed, just solid. That's all it comes down to. I just wanted a good electric type and good speed. Jolteon fits that. It was only like 5 or 6 points. I think it was 5 points. So it was pretty beneficial for my team just to go ahead and grab that for the role that it fits in speed. Being a good revenge killer, or if they opt to not bring a dark type, or sorry, not to bring a ground type, if the ground type's really bad in the matchup, or the ground type's just bad, period, then I'm able to really just exploit that with Jolteon. Get off a lot of Volt switches with my base 110 special attack, which is still pretty good. Get off discharges, maybe spam some T-Waves. I give a Taunt Pass to go around, even if I am worried about the ground type coming in on the Volt Switch potentially, so I can keep that in mind. I have run a Screens Jolteon before. I've run Bulky Wish Jolteon before. It does have its options because it has decent special defense to where it can be a Tapu Koko answer if you really wanted to. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't really do too much to the Tapu Koko back, so if it is a bulky Calm Mind Burst, scary, but not too worried about that because I have Gliscor. But so it's really just got Shadow Ball for its coverage now. Signal Beam is shown on the screen, but it's out of the game, so we're not allowed to run it. So, yep, nothing too much. Yawn's also actually pretty cool too, to be able to put something to sleep, maybe so Charizard can set up later on. So, nothing too much to talk about Jolteon because it is one-dimensional now and it doesn't get access to Hidden Power. It's not as good as it used to be, but I still love it. It's one of my favorite evolutions, period, ever since Gen 1 and Gen 3 remakes. So, next up is a Girder. Now, Girder is a bulky fighting boy who also gets access to Defog. I still don't know why they gave the Conkeldurr line Defog. I guess it's because they just clean the ground with the items they're holding and the bar and like Conkeldurr's big cement block things, but it still doesn't make sense to me. Because like you think of a bird with wings and this is a clown. This is the people that John in draft. But we have the Boulder coming in with 105 attack. Decent. Pretty good, like, bulky though. Eviolite 85 with defense. I always say the wrong. A Violite with 85 defense, 85 HP. Pretty good defensive Pokemon. Not bad. Can be a really solid bulk up Pokemon with Drain Punch. Mainly just going to be there for defog. Good knockoff spam once again. Can get Taunt, which can be pretty annoying for bulky Pokemon that are trying to be annoying back. So take that, bulky Pokemon. But nothing too special apart from that. I was really considering going a different route with these last 3 picks and going like with Hitmontop. But then I wouldn't be able to get Jolteon and Bouffalant, and those were the better picks in their point tier. So I just thought I have more of a well-rounded team. Even though I thought Rabbit Spin would benefit me a little bit more, Girder can still go a long way. All of these abilities are just so good. Conkeldurr's an amazing Pokemon. If you haven't drafted it, I really suggest you use Conkeldurr at one point. A lot of people won't do it purely because of its speed, but that thing is so bulky and so hard to switch into, and you don't know what ability they're going to bring every week. Like, it's actually ridiculous. And offensive Mach Punch with Iron Fist, or Guts, even just Guts Flame Ward Mach Punch, Pokemon is stupid strong. But Girder, it's going to do its job. I'm not that worried about it. Probably won't bring it as often as the rest of the team. But if I do need it for defog 1 week, or it does have a decent chance of setting up with bulk up, or just being annoying for the team with knockoff plus guts or something like that, I will abuse it. I'm not afraid to do it. So the boulder might come into the ring on occasion. And lastly, we have APA, because how are we supposed to get to the championship if we're not able to fly there? Bouffalant, unfortunately, cannot fly, but we'll take what we can get. He's just a floofy boy that's similar to APA, and I will take that any day of the week. Nothing too special with a 3-point Mon. Really good Mon for 3 points. Actually has decent stats. A lot of people don't use Bouffalant nor respect it, and I don't really understand why. This thing is hard to switch into with Reckless plus, like, Head Smash. Or like Head Charge. And it does get Head Smash, right? Or am I tripping? Oh, dude, I'm so dumb. But it does get Head Charge, obviously. That's the thing that's hard to switch into. Close Combat, Earthquake, Mega Horn, Outrage, like, rest in peace, Pursuit. Taunt's really good, obviously. And, like, Reckless, of course, a really good offense ability. Sap Sipper and Soundproof, 2 really good defensive options. Not many people will see Bouffalant for that, but it's actually a decent, like, Pokemon to be like special defensive and take hits from those grass or Pokemon such as Exploud or Swellow that are trying to spam Boom Burst. And it can go a long way because you can be a sub soundproof set and get up SDs and you're really bulky. And of course, any sound move would go through substitute, but you don't have to worry about that because you're soundproof. So it does go a long way. This Pokemon can be pretty annoying to teams that don't respect it. So you have to keep that in mind. And it just gave me a normal typing, which is pretty beneficial. And I thought it was pretty good for 3 points. I will take that any day of the week. So, to wrap up the team, I will show the full draft that came with the Doctor. And there's the Charizard's logo, in case you were wondering, because I was too lazy to put it on the screen beforehand. But my beautiful Charizards are going to be running the Mega Charizard X Roku, the Gliscor Longfang, Melmetal Kuvira, Roserade Suki, Suicune Hakoda. That's probably my favorite nickname that I came up with for this draft because I already use Roku all the time. Anyways, Mesprit Spirit. Please do give me an option for Mesprit though down in the comments. Sneasel Minghui, Jolteon Zolt, or Lightning Bolt Zolt if you want to be professional. The Girder. Oh, maybe I should change it to that instead of the Boulder, the Girder, because it sounds kind of similar. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I'm so smart. Bouffalant, aka APA. Yip. And then Florges, the White Lotus. That was the actual order where I drafted them all. The only change was that I moved Florges up for the sake of when I was talking about them. So nothing too crazy. But, yep, that's going to do it for the draft analysis. Please let me know down in the comments section, 1, what you think of the draft, and 2, whether you would want to see live battles or see another draft league at the same time. I'm only going to do one of the 2, so keep that in mind. I don't really think I'm going to be consistently at doing 2 at the same time because I'm in a lot of leagues right now, more than I actually should, and I hope I can consistently play them all because I would really hate dropping from one. But, I have to do that. I'm still spending time out of the day to apply for jobs because who works during this economy in the pandemic, am I right? And then also I spent a lot of time disc golfing. That was a new thing that I picked up during quarantine. So if you also do that, let me know down below. But once again, thank you all so much for checking out the video and coming over from Mikey's channel if you did. And if you've been here for a long time, can I get a heart in the comment section for 1K? Absolutely amazing. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Have a good day, and I'll see you again soon.